William Henry Barton and his wife Florence spent their first married years in Mill Creek Canyon running Williams Sawmill. In 1871, they homesteaded a quarter section of land in Granger, southwest of Salt Lake City, and they built a brick home there. It was one of the first homes west of the Jordan River. They proved up on the land in 1880. For a few years, they lived in Granger during the wintertime and moved to Mill Creek Canyon in the summer. That's where William sawed lumber and hauled it to Salt Lake with ox teams. The roads were very poor in those days, with mud sometimes up to the wagon hubs. William worked mainly in the lumber business, but he also helped to build the first railroad in the state and also helped dig the Utah-Salt Lake Canal to carry water to Salt Lake Valley farmers like himself. William and Charles Hussey patented the first canvas dam for irrigation purposes. This canvas dam idea was widely used for decades after. William was very fond of hunting deer. In about 1885, William was on a hunting trip in Mill Creek Canyon with a friend, Eli Curtis. Curtis mistook him for a deer and shot, the bullet passing through the calf of William's leg just below the knee, coming out 4 inches above the ankle. The snow was very deep and the weather was cold. William was compelled to keep moving to keep from freezing. He crawled backwards down that steep slope. Eli Curtis then put him on his horse and took him to camp. The next morning they took him to Dr. Dosher in Murray. Blood poison had then set in, and he was a very sick man for a long time. In the spring, he was still laid up, and it was then that the neighbors showed what real brotherly love was. One morning early, they came with their teams and plowed and planted much of William's land that day. Their wives came along with picnic baskets and made it a day never to be forgotten. In about 1889, William and Charlie Hussey bought a steam sawmill and took it to Hickman Canyon in Skull Valley to saw railroad ties and lumber. They thought that the railroad was coming through Skull Valley, but it ended up going through Corinne. They moved the mill several times before setting it up just 80 rods from home. The logs were hauled by team from Harker's and Coon Canyon. The lumber was sold to the neighbors and also in Salt Lake at from $16 to $20 per 1,000 square feet. In 1899, William became president of the Indian Peat Mining and Milling Company in Porter Fork up Mill Creek Canyon. They incorporated to develop mining properties, issuing 100,000 shares of 10 cents each. With Vice President Rasmus Peterson and Treasurer Hans Peterson, they planned to work mines with names like Paymaster, Jackrabbit, Wildcat, and Homestake. They dreamed of building their own community near the mine, a school, a post office, general store, hotel, and even a gentleman's social club. Several of William's neighbors from Granger worked at the Indian Peat Mine and were paid with shares of stock in the mine. Unfortunately, the mine never produced enough significant profits. Through innovation, hardship, and community, William Henry Barton built a legacy of faith and perseverance on the frontier. Now, coming up in episode 3, Trials of Later Years and Spiritual Legacy.